Welcome back to the North American Summer Promotion Tournament and Game 3 between TDK and Winterfox. And gentlemen, moving into Game 3, we go back to our original side selection from Game 1. So TDK on blue, Winterfox on red. But with 2 games worth of knowledge under our belts here, Zion, what do you expect to see change in the pick ban phase?
So I definitely think there's going to be a big shift because, like you said, they're switching sides. So they banned Shyvana, Corki, Morg on blue last time, and they're probably going to switch out the Morg ban for a Sivir ban because I feel like Sivir is probably the highest priority pick for either team. And then after that, we're probably going to see a Jinx ban dropped for TDK, and then they'll probably ban Ziggs instead because they don't want to deal with that. And then if the Sivir is down, then it'll be interesting to see where they go from there. But I think Sivir and Ziggs are going to be out this game.
All right. Yeah, I think those are very important champions. Absolutely, the team fight power of Sivir, obviously very massive. We've seen that Altic, even though he's a carry force for his team, is actually doing a lot of damage on the utility AD carry, so that's really cool to see. As far as Ziggs getting banned out, I tend to agree. I do want to see what is picked to replace it. We've seen assassin mids not always go great. The team fight mids tend to go pretty well. There are some replacements. Mid lane Kennen to me is the biggest easy switch. He's not like a great wave clear, but he's a good mid-range team fight, comes online pretty early in 1 or 2 items. I think Lux and Xerath are also good ones that can fit the mold, maybe a little bit more 1-to-1 for what Ziggs does, but these high burst AoE mages just seem to be the right champions to pick right now in this kind of series where you're running a bunch of Sejuanis, you're running a bunch of hard engage, a bunch of lockdown. These are the types of champions that synergize well with those compositions.
Right, and then, well, first of all, we'll have to see if either of those mid laners have those champions in their pool and are willing to bring them out here.
Right.
And then the last thing that I wanted to touch on, and we did talk about it before the break, is the fact that individual play here just needs to be cleaned up a little bit around the edges, that there was a few too many missed positions on many different people's parts from both teams, and if they want to walk away with the best of 5 series, individual mechanics need to be cleaned up so that they can worry about the larger strategy.
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest thing is especially look at that dragon fight, and there's just miscoordination, and Sivir kind of solves those problems, but you saw when TDK was doing the dragon, they kind of just stuck on the dragon and then just got mauled by Winterfox because they weren't able to recognize that they needed to peel off or they were all going to die. And they have to recognize those kind of things and learn how to position properly if they want to win these team fights when it comes down to Cinderhulk tanks versus Cinderhulk tanks, and the fights get a lot closer.
Yeah, and as the fights get longer, too, so there's more time to make mistakes. Anyway, as we send it over to the caster desk to get us into the game, Helios warns that dwelling on losses in a best-of-5 situation is dangerous and usually causes you to lose more games.
베스트 오브 3나 베스트 오브 5를 하게 되면은 되게 중요한 게 한두 경기 지는 것 같고 이제 멘탈이 깨지면 안 돼요. 멘탈이 깨지게 되면은 이제 나머지 게임에도 되게 큰 영향을 주기 때문에 될 수 있으면 이제 지더라도 이기더라도 뭐 좀 더 침착하게 하자 이런 식으로 어드바이스를 해주는 게 제일 베스트인 것 같아요.
And you can see they definitely played composed after that Game 1 loss. Able to bounce back and fix their problems, draft a lot of wave clear. Altec and Pobelter didn't look completely comfortable Game 1. Game 2, they knocked it out of the park.
It's something that needs to change, especially in something that's going to challenge your mental and physical prowess like a best-of-5 does. Not a lot of these guys scrim and practice like this, and when you do, you kind of still have the restarts. You have the very lax situation that you're not grinding a best-of-5 series. It becomes difficult, and we'll see if they can get in each other's head here going into Game 3. This will really start to put that cushion for that match point in there if you can get this W. Nunu and Hecarim already banned out. Helios will not get the Nunu, it seems, any of these games. Jinx, Shyvana, Corki, Morgan, Sivir again, right. Sivir is gone there. We still have the junglers both left up, so for Kez and Helios, they can get what they want. Does Helios take the Gragas away this first time, though?
Gragas has been prioritized a little higher than Sejuani, and it's really funny because as a jungler myself, I prioritize Sejuani higher because she's easier to execute on in team fights. And Winterfox does too, apparently, because they're going for those team fights. She's easier to execute. Messing up a Sejuani ultimate is much harder to do than messing up a Gragas ultimate. Not only can you miss a Sej ultimate, you can miss a Gragas ultimate and also use it incorrectly much easier. So they're actually going to get it once again for TDK, 3rd time in a row. So he has to make early moves with this because that's the advantage Gragas has, is just this early aggression.
Right, and I feel like kind of the Sivir pickup is what they were missing last game. Now this composition gets all it wants to go in. They can have it. It's not Lucian this time. They first picked that Sivir. Like the analyst has said, it's kind of top priority for these teams right now by the way they've been fighting in such grouped up fights.
Yeah, when you team fight you want to run a teamfight comp, you take Sivir or you ban Sivir. And the fact they banned Jinx away is actually pretty good now that I think about it, because a big counter to Sivir in teamfights is Jinx staying an extra 200 range away from her reach, that you take about 2 shots before you can even close that distance. And by that time, you hope that you are far enough ahead of her in the game and just the way the game's been playing to actually deal with that. So now, with that off the table, they have to go with the Lucian here for Altec.
They do. We switch up the AD carries once again between these two teams. We do see the AD carry, like we said, out before, so Alex can't get his hands on that once again. We saw that coming from TDK in the first game of the series. Looking pretty calm. Was dealing with some nerves earlier, but Alex seems to be right and good to go with the team here. Gnar is being checked out, like you were talking about before. The TP Gnar for Seraph is definitely an option. He's gone with Mundo, and it is up this game, but maybe just feeling something else.
Oh, if they take the Ziggs away, oh, this is looking for some wave clear and some kill pressure in that top lane. And that's going to be the Gnar. It's going to be most likely TP Smite Gnar. They take the Ziggs away. Thought it was going to be a ban. You don't have the luxury of banning it here. So this is really big for TDK. I like this composition and the team fight it brings to the table and denies Pobelter what he was so good on and Avalon and Altec last game. And this is kill pressure on Avalon at all times.
Yeah, definitely going to need a little bit of that AP here for Pobelter. The LeBlanc is still open. Can try to get some kills going for the assassinations, but so is the Kassadin. Pobelter has put games on his back with this Kassadin before. There's always the vice versa to that as well, but more than not, he will have a good game and he can stay strong in the laning phase.
Yeah, if you die to a Kassadin early, you've pretty much made a big fault. And Ziggs can't really trade that effectively with him. You'll be able to wave clear on him. You'll push him into his turret a whole bunch. But if this Gragas makes early moves, Kez can actually get some kills here onto the Kassadin pre-6. Which I would hope Kez does, but he's been a very passive jungler throughout the start of it. As soon as he gets Sightstone, he's trying to rush it and ward up. So looking at the team comps, it's all about team fight again. Only thing is, I like to take stock of wave clear, and TDK has an abundance of wave clear with Ziggs, Sivir, and Gragas. But then if you look over at the side of Winterfox, it's a little bit Pobelter, but that's kind of melee range, and then Altec on Lucian. And we saw Lucian being the sole wave clear as a problem last game.
It's not that great when it's on a minute cooldown. You kind of get waves every 30 seconds. The times really don't match up too much, and especially when you start getting the super minions in there, it's going to be a lot more difficult. It seems like Winterfox has kind of been squeezed into another composition here, but with that Kassadin, I feel like it changes what we were seeing with that last pick.
Yeah, and Pobelter, he's looking for some kill pressure there. He has the Ignite, of course.
See if he can get it.
See if he can get a win here.
All right, remember to update your series predictions. Keep it going by tweeting hashtag TDK win or hashtag WFX win to @LOL Esports, and we will update the fan poll shortly. We'll see what these guys have going into Game 3. Some discussions of TDK out back. Didn't listen in. Wasn't trying to eavesdrop, but it seemed like they were very calm. It didn't, it wasn't at all heightened voices or anybody was angry. Everybody knows there's a lot more to be played, and a calm, cool head is going to get you the victory.
Yeah, I ran into Alex before this set, and he did not seem to be stressing about anything.
Why not?
He's completely like, I'm just here to play some League of Legends and do well, play against a really good mid laner.
Yeah.
So, looking at the changes here, because I talked about the Ignite that Pobelter took on the mid lane. Alex Each, he has Cleanse in the mid lane to deal with pretty much only Sejuani, maybe Maokai if he's focused down. But also, Seraph didn't go with Smite. He went with Flash to survive a possible lane swap and dive. But also, that's the thing is, I like the Ignite, or I like the Smite on Gnar only if you're getting one-on-one kill pressure. Late game, though, you don't have E, Flash, R into the wall combos. So this is going to give him better team fights than he would have had with the Smite.
Try to be a bit of a beast there. We saw Alex taking heal on his Corki as well. No stranger to not having a super aggressive spell in the mid lane, so he knows how to keep that going in his favor in a safe condition. We also saw him 1v1ing with Pobelter in that instance. Heal's a little bit better for that than what he has now, but we'll see if he keeps that aggression up. We said Kez still back onto Gragas. Has had good early games. You kind of mentioned being passive with that early Sightstone, and the passiveness has allowed him to really get where Helios is for the counter ganks. We saw that happening a lot. Smoothie was a focus for those early games for them to take down.
Yeah, focusing Smoothie. I think he's been first blood both games so far. Needs to work on his lane swaps a little bit more and where he's going to be in them and how he's positioning in a lane against a top laner that has gank assistance, because you're going to get taken out very quickly if you overextend versus a Maokai. And another thing that I want to take stock of here is the fact that, oh no, it left my head. I just hate that. It's like you open up the fridge and you're like, what was I doing? What was I doing?
Well, what I do like this game is that one has Gromp, one has Krug in the bottom lane, and we're actually going to get the matchup.
I finally remembered. Thank you. You jogged my memory.
There you go.
So, Gragas, Kez, he needs to make early game moves towards this middle, and even if you're body slam flashing level 3 to try and get Pobelter's flash, it's completely worth it to trade your flash as a jungler for mid laner's flash, because then you get absolute kill pressure on them. On a repeat gank, he cannot overextend, and he has to sacrifice CS. But look at that. Double knockup.
The pressure,
nice trade.
Nicely traded, absolutely. And the good focus from a quick ricochet there, allowing them to trade damage back, mostly to Glebe. So Smoothie and Louis G get out of this one safely. These last few games, we've seen Smoothie kind of favor a bit of the healing support to keep Louis safe in lane. I guess it would have been keeping Seraph safe last time with the lane swaps, but really enjoying this one. And this time, Altec will not teleport out of the lane. We see the matchup, and so far, they're going aggressive. Altec, the farm machine, 16-8 already.
And this is another support for Smoothie that I expect to see him very comfortable on, because he likes starting the fights for his team, right? We talked about how with Morgana, the bindings, the catches is what he thrives off of. And having an Alistar is right up that alley.
You can see him on your screen there, along with Glebe.
Oh. Ships in the night.
Ships in the night. Oh, they see each other.
But they're battleships. Oh, no.
The spotlight is out.
Walking away.
Bit of crab control over for Helios. Both teams know where the junglers are. And the pressure in the bottom lane is actually going to stick with that knowledge. Winterfox is not afraid of it.
Oh, he's in turret range.
Gets hit. He is in turret range, but they got one last minion. The Ignite is out. That flash from Louis could come in, but they're not going to do it. Storm Shield is there. There's a lot to bait out that summoner.
Yep. And the heal at the same time. Altec still held that, knowing that the Ignite would not be enough to finish him off.
Good little tip by Altec as well there. You know, you're not going to expect the team to come quickly aggressive at you after you just lost the fight, but he does. He tries to trade back
There's
a
no wards
bit of damage.
in the river here. They're relying on the Scuttle Crab vision to see Kez. Kez is sneaking around them right now. There's the flash!
This is one of those things, Irene. You get caught up in the instance, forget to check everything else, and errors can also be made by the team that looks like they have the upper hand. TDK came out of that with nothing.
They got the flash from Winterfox. They got the flash from Altec in exchange for their support's flash. Kez didn't connect with his body slam. You gotta eat a little more. Get that belly a little bigger. It was a knocked up target too, just a little short on that belly.
We'll see. Level 5-6, he'll grow it. He'll get it out there.
Yeah, he needed that though, because if they had landed that, it would have been more follow-up damage onto Altec, and he may have not been able to stay in the lane in the comfortable way that he is right now.
One of the first times not first times, but see Kez really going aggressive rather than being the one to stop Helios' aggression. Didn't work out for TDK there to start things off, but also didn't hurt them too bad. Smoothie's still able to make those initiations, and they can rinse and repeat for that flash in the bottom lane of Altec. Here in the mid lane, 37-30, not too bad. They're just going to be soaking up these consumables until we get a little extra pressure.
Alex is very aggressive. He has a flash, so he has to be aggressive in this lane. He didn't go for the Doran's ring start. Instead,
right up to the turret every time.
I was talking about how Ziggs trades with Kassadin, and it's not always that favorable for him off of the shield. But if you take a flask and you just pop it, you match his consumables on the Kassadin, you're good to go.
Oh, he baited this one in nicely, but Winterfox also now has vision of Kez and Smoothie because of Glebe, so good rotation from him there. Both teams could have been in some trouble for a quick second.
They do lose vision of that bottom right half of the map, though, from Winterfox, so TDK control that area, and Glebe's going to have to put his last ward down there in the river.
Got it. Yep, so Glebe back down to the bottom lane. We're all matched up once again. Obviously going to be a bit slower of a game here. Not too much jungle pressure other than bottom lane and a quick hello to mid.
Yeah, he's got to throw that down so that these go to Helios and not Pobelter, so Alex each gets a 17 CS advantage when everything's all said and done in the mid lane. And then I want to touch on top lane, because this is the lane that Seraph usually is getting the short end of the stick when it comes to lane swap. He's coming out of it with much less CS than Avalon, and now he's actually in that one-on-one that he wants to exploit. This is how you would imagine these teams stacking up against each other, where Alex is like, okay, is he doing well against Pobelter? Does he have a good matchup? Can he wave clear well and survive? Good, he's doing well for them. Oh, but look at this.
Oh, right onto Glebe, another flash. Unfortunately, they did not go for Altec, whose flash is already down, but now they have 2 flashes down in the bot. They get a flash down in the top lane on the other side as well. Seraph's going to have to be a bit more careful.
Sneak in.
Very nice wards by Kez, right through that right side of the jungle. One's being walked over by Helios right now, and they know they can follow him or decide to gank a different area without his pressure now. A lot of information for TDK to be working with.
Yeah, TDK's been doing a really good job of vision control. Yeah. They've had pink wards in the mid and in the bottom side, make sure nothing happens there. But look at this, Glebe doesn't have flash now.
Exactly, the rinse and repeat. Can he get to hit it? Oh no, Kez just out of range. Here comes the teleport now. That's gonna be Avalon half out of base. So he realized this as he was walking to lane, and they do pick up Kez for his try in being aggressive towards the bottom lane.
That flash body slam.
That's it. He's had it for 3 games.
Yeah.
It seems to be going away
now
in
here. He has
what it's providing,
well,
rather than providing advantages. This could be the wear and tear of the series coming out now. TDK tried multiple times at the bottom lane, and when it looked like it should have gotten easier, right? 1 flash down, 2 flash down, thirds solid, right? Yeah. You're going to get it. No, you actually died that time. Not what's supposed to happen.
It's, oh man, it blows my mind a little bit because they were prioritizing this Gragas over the Sejuani, and if you're not able to pull off a flash body slam or know the appropriate range for it, then you shouldn't be prioritizing the Gragas. I know it's just 1 play, but it seemed like desperation there from TDK when they don't need to be desperate, and now because of that, they give up first blood and they give up an advantage to Winterfox.
We'll see if he can get it again. It always goes both ways, right? The next one could be amazing. Okay, 5 people. We'll see.
And then everybody will forget about that first one.
Exactly. Exactly. So the Giants belt for Seraph, so he can stay nice and tanky in the top lane. Just some recipe buys coming out here. Nobody really too close to a core item just yet.
Yeah.
Glebe getting the wards in a little deeper so they can be safe here and work off this first kill. It actually gave him quite a nice gold lead, around 600.
Oh, and yeah, when I was talking about the difference here between these 2 teams, where you expect Seraph to do well against Avalon, Pobelter, and Alex,
right, the lane matchup.
How do they stack up? Altec is crushing Louis right now in CS. Basically, what's going on in the mid lane, Alex is just really creating a lead for his team because Altec's making it up and covering Pobelter's bases while he scales up.
As long as they keep the kills away from Pobelter.
Yeah.
Be right as rain. No problems. Still pretty okay with this laning phase so far. They're not trying to pressure too much. First Dragons had already happened by now with our previous lane swap games, but here teams are definitely giving each other the consideration.
It's another bot lane
Another
here.
bot lane, yeah. We see Kez just kind of rotating down slowly. He may stop off at Krugs.
It's where all their pink wards are on TDK side. Winterfox dedicated their pink wards to the top side of the map. So if Kez actually did go up there, he'd be spending a lot of time clearing those wards and just trying to find a gank route into those lanes.
Yeah, he has no camp, so he's back. We'll see if TDK can hold strong for right now. Helios level 7. Still waiting for ultimates to come out of that. Definitely these games more and more safe for both teams now that they feel what's on the line. Seraph came into those early, or this game, and we heard earlier that he was kind of saying no risk coming in here, right? Try what we want. The team lets me play this, and that's kind of an aura that surrounds the team, is no risk. What do you have to lose coming into this, right? You try again next season, or you get into the LCS. It's definitely a good deal.
Definitely seem to have good spirits right now.
That pressure also weighs onto Winterfox.
Seraph, though.
Can they get back in?
Where's his ultimate going to go? He's still waiting.
Good pressure. He should be able to mitigate most of that with a Vengeful Maelstrom. Timed out. Teleports are down in the top lane, so they look like they'll be having fun on that island for a little bit longer here as we finally get a bit of dragon pressure over the Scuttle Crab. The wet noodles are broken out once again. Looks like Avalon's able to swing a little bit harder on that one.
Avalon got the level up, and so his Catalyst is going to get him a little bit healthier.
Catalyst is passive as well, helping very nicely.
Oh.
Moves by Alex Ish.
Those auto attacks.
Man, can he right-click.
Zig's passive definitely comes in handy when you're trying to break the shield.
It really does.
TP from the bot side. Oh.
Smoothie flash pulverizes, completely misses that one with the flash from Glebe as well to try and save the team. Mega Inferno coming down. It's not going to cancel anybody out as Glebe was already in the grave. And it looks like TDK does get a little for the troubles.
They got both flashes in the bottom lane, the heal from Altec, and they used one flash. Actually, no. That was Smoothie used his flash.
Yeah, Smoothie did.
Smoothie used his flash. Yeah, one flash and a TP. So definitely worth. They're going to pick up a kill. They're going to trade a little bit of damage on top turret. Ziggs will continue to clear the mid, but this is a dragon going over to TDK, and they get themselves back into the game off of a collapse on bottom.
If he keeps swinging, he should be able to take down that top turret in this next wave coming up. So good moves here from TDK.
And this is how TDK want to play this game. Alex has an advantage over Pobelter and CS. Top lane, Avalon, he's doing well. He's doing really well against Seraph. But Seraph's trying to transition whatever he had top lane into bottom lane to try and neutralize Altec's lead. So then you would end up with just a mid lane advantage because they're trying to get Louis GG in a good spot in this game. He's down a BF sword right now. Not an ideal position to be in as an AD carry.
Nope.
Whole BF sword.
You already know, like you said, with Louis trying to make money off his buy right now. He's not going to be putting out too much damage.
Oh, boy. So he was sitting at 1535 in gold, and he buys boots and crit cloak, and then just sits on 490 gold afterwards. He could have bought the BF, but made a very conscious choice to go with the crit chance and the movement speed over that extra damage.
All right, so if anything, Louis GG gets most unconventional build path.
The G's stand for Genja Genja.
Genja Genja. I would believe you, and I do. We'll see if it comes to be something that can tear apart this Winterfox team. Right now, it kind of just has a lot of stuff that would make a BF sword do good damage.
Whatever team Alex is on, he changes his AD carry into Genja.
That's true. It's just this. Just rubs right off.
But yeah, the BF sword opting out of it for the RNG, which is something that, he's making up for the crit chance he didn't have in games 1 and 2.
Right, you just do it drastically.
He's like, you know what? I know the algorithm. When you don't crit, it increases your chance to crit. So, I didn't crit for 2 games. Time to crit.
Time to crit, indeed. Well, it looks like he'll be critting people that might be a little slow with a Frozen Mallet first item coming out of Seraph.
It gives him a lot of kill potential
top line.
On Maokai.
Yeah.
He gets caught by an auto and Avalon pushes up. I wouldn't be surprised if Seraph just freezes this lane instead of actually pushing it out, trying to force Avalon to find a different avenue in.
That lane doesn't come too bad when Maokai can kind of walk away and just heal up off of all the spells that Seraph is hitting. But when you can't walk away, ouch, cuts the tree down quite quick. Teleport is up for Avalon, so he will head to the top lane. Looks like he's a little distraught with what he wants to do right now. He will head down with the team, it seems, here. Covering mid lane or just making sure that we see that Pobelter is safe. Not sure what Winterfox has in mind just yet, but it looks like they're getting their vision to set up for something.
Yep, he's a wandering tree, but Avalon, he gets to make a play because he has his TP up. He knows Seraph doesn't have his
he can go back
off the play bottom, exactly. So if he can make a play in this kind of free time that he has, but this is giving Seraph a huge CS lead because he gets to shove top, and then it actually becomes a pressure vacuum, and it swaps, where Avalon has to make a move, or else Seraph is going to reach his turret, and that might force the TP from Avalon. And then they're at a disadvantage on Winterfox's side.
I have to figure that Winterfox sensing Seraph's TP is down if they don't already know it with the way that TDK is kind of walking around this one.
Yeah, they're skittering around it.
Yeah,
there is a right story completed onto Avalon, but he's going to have to go top. They're bringing Pobelter up there as well at the moment. It's all about that wave clear. It's all about these jungle ganks. Who makes it in? Seraph, he finally pushed the wave up, but yep, Avalon's there to soak it. They don't know where Pobelter is just yet. There he goes. He's over a ward. And so now, now he gets to duel. Seraph gets to have his one-on-one with his Frozen Mallet.
Very nicely timed as well for the side of Winterfox as they get up with teleport still up to come back to the fight so he can get away from Seraph if he needs to do so. And if he's not in our form, he's just going to be able to teleport right away from him.
Yep, exactly. His TP is almost up as well. Good point, Riv. But Seraph now has his pressure back.
2 minutes on that dragon. Looking at some of these spikes that Rod of Age is charging for Pobelter here. The Athenes on Alex fixed up. That's what Pobelter went with in his buy as well. Got to keep this trading going with a bit of that magic resistance. not going to be an easy game. The gold lead, I don't think, really gives anybody the upper hand as we come to this dragon. It's whoever has that positioning, and this is kind of the first time we're not seeing that 5-on-5 brawl team that they're both teams, I should say, are bringing to the table. So we'll see how they assess the first 5-on-5 fight.
Yep, both clashing into each other. It's going to be 10 people on your screen very early on. But the thing is Altec's CS advantage over LuiGG is really starting to manifest itself.
It's coming up big.
It went back to the void.
Bloop. Got it. Good hands, Alex. Let's see what he got. Needlessly large rod. Still wants to get a little bit of the impact damage out. They know this dragon is going to be big, so they get what items they can from the recipes in. We're going to see summoner spells around the board is what I'm looking at. Everything is up here. Seraph is just about to gnaw out. This could be really, really good for TDK.
It's back to what I talked about earlier. Where
fortunately, gnawing out too
junglers, just vision control bots in this matchup. Kez is going to just buy that Sightstone early. Helios is going to match him. He knows his tendencies. Pink wards across the inventories for both teams. They're trying to set up for objectives. They're trying to get their wave clear on in the mid lane. And Pobelter knows this. He maxed his E first. He's not all about the trading just yet.
Right.
He's about that wave clear when it gets to his turret.
Winterfox okay with mid going down. Might have been suicide to protect that one here. And it looks like Helios is able to give the team knowledge that a dragon is about to go down. Nice little push by Altec in the bot lane could provide for something if this fight goes in their favor here.
Avalon took a lot of damage top lane from Seraph. This matchup is very important right before the TPs come in. If Seraph is getting free damage onto Avalon and forcing him under turret, it causes multiple threats, and it puts Winterfox on a timer. If they can get and engage within that time frame, though, then it's really, really good for them.
We just saw the ping from Avalon. He said, I don't have eyes on Seraph. Well, he did, just saying he's in the brush behind him. Careful for the teleport, I can't stop it. So gets him back in range of that. And still, this 4v4 here is pivotal. Top laners are hoping that their team doesn't make a mistake at this point. And the pressure is on right now. This could really change the way of this game.
Yep, Pobelter goes forward, but
not a whole lot of damage.
Such a low cooldown right now.
That's pretty much the same damage trade. Follow-up, though, from Altec gives them a bit of the advantage there. We start to have the roam down from Seraph. Almost calculated there by Avalon, but he does not fully pursue. Seraph is far enough away to get the teleport in and just about to gnaw out if he decides to get into this fight. And they disengage once again.
Oh yeah, he's got his rage right at
perfect.
Tip. He's ready to go. But nope, he's gonna gnar himself up.
Pobelter just giving out a quick
trade
pulse. Such a tense moment here for both teams, and then neither wants to pull the trigger on the fight. Nobody's finding the perfect entry. Definitely going to have to be off a mistake that someone makes here to get in. Both teams with great wards right now, doing everything they need to stop the fight. It's pretty much why we're seeing nothing.
It does look like Seraph is slowly chipping away at this turret, though.
That's that's kind of the only advantage.
When it comes down to it, he's getting, even if he's getting 1 or 2 autos per wave, he'll eventually chip this turret away and get it for his team and then open up more of the map. And that's the big thing here, is if they just leave it completely uncontested, or I guess with just Avalon, who's continuing to take damage from Seraph in this matchup. This is where Seraph thrives, where he's able to create pressure in a one-on-one situation, top on a split push.
So now do things actually become dangerous for Pobelter because he didn't have a great early game because he's not a super growing Cassidy right now?
He's got his Rod of Ages. He's going for the cooldown reduction from the Athenes. So he's going to have that 1.4, 1.6 second cooldown ultimate when he's level 16. But he backs for that. They back for item breakpoints, and the dragon gets snatched up in that time. But no, he's not going to have a bad point in the game. He's only 20 CS down.
Right.
The person who's having a bad point in this game is LuiGG, who doesn't have this IE completed yet. He's sitting on 1,700 gold, though. But so is Altec.
Got the money.
On 15.
Why would you not complete it just yet? I guess he hasn't really been engaged in too many of the fights. Both teams really backed off from each other here, so he has the time. Still farming, though. Doesn't want to get it. Knows the team is going to stay back. He'll pick up red first to make sure that is off the map before Winterfox can get it. Looking around right now, most of that gold in the game is on to Altec.
Yep, he's about 1,000 gold up over his lane opponent. He rift walked in, but he'll just rift walk right out.
Yeah.
It's hard to catch that guy. You got to have enough burst to deal with him. Right now, though, and looking forward, because of the lack of wave clear on Winterfox, they do want to fight you in 5-on-5s. They want to be the first ones in to force objectives. Whereas TDK, they want to wave clear side lanes and try to force Winterfox into clearing those side waves while they do an objective. And then possibly teamfight off it and control chokes. But both teams really want to control choke points.
Some nice wards. As you see Kez walking over all of Winterfox's right now, just a straight line right where Glebe is, vertically up to the top lane. So there's no way for TDK to safely make it from lane to lane quickly right behind the buffs. Winterfox has done a nice job of that, and it's really stopping Seraph's pressure towards that top side. For as much as he was getting out of the turret, he's not finding too many results now. Here comes the teleport in from Avalon on the top side, just in range of Smoothie. That might not be the guy they want, as he's able to headbutt Pobelter right back towards turret range. Avalon is tanking, and Pobelter, he should be going down here. One last attack, and the boomerang comes flying out, gets him in the back side of the skirt. It's hard to run in a dress.
That was a 4v5. That was a 4v5. Louis GG was not there. He was bottom, and as soon as he went over a ward, that's when Winterfox was like, all right, time to TP, time to force this. And Pobelter gets locked up. Smoothie uses his ultimate to break the root and then get the pulverize to keep him in tower range. Pobelter, just way too much damage onto him. Gets slowly chunked down. Frozen Mallet, man.
That fight almost tells like kind of how tight things were getting. You don't usually twisted advantage engage on the Alistar, but somebody was there, and they've been there a lot, so let's take this one kind of mentality.
Exactly. It's Louis GG isn't there. He's gonna push bottom. This is our timer.
Yeah.
We have to make an engage. And that's the type of thing that Winterfox is going to encounter in this game, is we have engage power with Righteous Glory, but as soon as somebody's caught out, we don't have the Sivir. If this composition had a Sivir, it would be absolutely, it would be so hard to deal with.
They would have scattered in that fight so quick, would not have been able to catch. Pobelter would have baited away from Altec, or I'm sorry, Alex Each, and then it just would have happened in their favor.
And the funny thing
Easier said than done.
Funny thing in this set is TDK and Winterfox talked about it before. We gave them side selection. Everybody chose red side.
Yeah.
So far, blue side has won.
It's so true.
They've gotten that first pick away from the enemy. It was Gragas and then Sivir, and then it was Sivir again. So people realizing that Sivir is a highly contested champion in this matchup. They don't care about giving away Sejuani or Gragas. They want the ability to pretty much guarantee they start the fight. You can't miss a Sivir ultimate.
Yeah, there's a lot of priority just in general on the AD carries. You're seeing Morgana try to be in here as well for extra safety shields and whatnot. But yeah, Sivir, definitely a high priority between these two teams. Looking at the picks and bans. Luden's Echo for Alex Each on his Ziggs. Also has his pen boots finished up. Seeing what we're getting over on the side. Looks like it's going to be an Athenes for himself as well for Pobelter.
Yep, the Athenes. Lots of CDR.
Yep.
1.4, 1.6 second cooldown depending on if you have blue.
Gotta go
for
fast.
That Rift Walk. It's pretty ridiculous. And if you get a kill, you pretty much guarantee that you are going to get another Rift Walk off of the 30% missing mana.
Yep. Love all that cooldown factoring into
maximum mana. And his W is missing.
Minute and 30 on to Dragon, 25 minutes into this. From what we saw in both games, it seems both teams have been able to figure out strategies and are very much on a level playing field here as we enter into Game 3. Cannot really call this in anybody's favor, from Champ Select to even how we're seeing
Trying to force it on this. Oh, Helios with the ulti. They're not going on Louis. He's in the pit.
Yeah, I was just about to say Louis is actually in a really bad spot. Seraph could actually keep himself. Oh, he does not have another. Actually, didn't have the potion save his life. Tried to drink it, still went down. Now Winterfox is turning the fight around. Louis GG wasn't the focus, but it seems like Winterfox knew exactly what they were doing without the rest of TDK being there, and are one after the other shutting down TDK as they try to run away.
That was just a terrible trickle in there from TDK. Winterfox, they took the opportunity. Helios missed his ultimate, but he spread them out, and they went after Seraph. They knew he had no more escapes. They knew his flash was down. That Gnar, he's not built for getting away. He's built for going in with the Frozen Mallet. You see right here, Louis just books it into the pit. There goes the ultimate. Whoops. It's like, oh wait, he'll kill me. So Helios runs away, and the team calls for Seraph. Smoothie has a really good play here. Knocks up 3 people and disengages this, but Seraph has already eaten the Ignite. It was a hero play, but it wasn't enough. And then the follow-up here, you can see Alex has already thrown out a lot of his abilities to try and disengage even the start of the fight. But the fact that it was engaged by Winterfox and TDK don't have any more Sivir ultimate available, they don't have an explosive minefield, they have nothing to play around at that point in the fight. So Winterfox is a 5-man unit, just able to barrel down over the scattered TDK.
And that could not have gone better for Winterfox and bad for TDK. Pole Belter and Altec, beneficiaries of that fight. 2 for Altec and 1 for Pole Belter's Kassadin to start getting him going even more. He's able to put a blasting wand inside his inventory, and he was already starting to do damage coming into that fight. They have so much to facilitate slowing down their enemy. It looked like they couldn't add any more catches, and then another catch, and then another catch. They also have the Talisman of Ascension on Glebe as well, with the Righteous Glory being built on Avalon. They have all the speed that they want, in or out. I like the Talisman of Ascension as well for the disengage.
Yeah, Talisman of Ascension works
or
both
engage.
ways.
Both ways, right. Just
whereas
not like Righteous.
Glory, yeah, exactly.
Good buys there. And we're seeing a little bit of health for Altec as he builds up that last Whisper.
He's also pretty ahead of Louis GG right now.
Great.
2 kills, 2 assists, 80 CS up over Louis GG. Altec pretty much is just crushing this matchup. 2,000 gold up. He's a lot of how
exactly 2,000 gold.
He's how his team is staying in this game.
Oh, we'll see if they can take him down after taking.
Haul. They gotta get to Seraph. They're bringing Pobelter in.
Seraph's gonna go down here. It'll take a while. We're gonna see that Kez comes up to the top side here. The team's gonna be chasing this fight instead of trying to grab anything else off of it.
Kez is coming
Seraph
up.
may actually be able to keep himself alive for a second. The cask is not gonna do much. It just kind of keeps everybody in the same spot for a Polaroid. They still take down Seraph.
Another person getting caught out here. The vision control of TDK falling to the wayside. It's pretty much dominated by Winterfox across the river here, both around Baron and by the Dragon. They haven't had time to just set their wards up again. Smoothie and Kez, they're showing up a little bit late. Kez is like, I gotta save Seraph, and so is Smoothie. So Seraph's gotten caught twice now. Preying off of his aggressive habits, and the fact that he loves to shove the waves up, and he's not having adequate vision to do so.
Right, definitely playing a little bit different of a game this time, not on a TP laner. He's going a little hard, or I'm sorry, Smite laner I should say. He is TP, but just not going as hard, not getting the same kind of mitigation in his fights. He's still taking all of the ones he's getting. 30 minutes though, still 2-2 in the game, can be a factor for the fights if he is gnarred out. That's not something we've really seen work out for TDK at this point. Winterfox has been very good at kind of skirting around that instance when they get their engages, really helping them out. See what Altec can do to clear this wave. Like we said, they don't have too much wave clear. And what they do is actually getting caught up right now. Pole Belter instantly gets deleted by Kez and the rest of the team. Avalon teleports in, and he's only going to take damage for his troubles here and will not be able to guard the turret as well as he likes. A little bit of a mistake. That could have been a turret teleport as well.
They'll get this turret off this wave. They're just going to walk up to it with their wave clear. The fact that Altec doesn't have his culling up just yet, they're only wave clear at this point in the game.
Right. Unfortunately, Avalon did just use that TP. The top side would love to get some attention with that gigantic wave of Winterfox, but TDK, they actually get hit by the Glacial Prison, and it looks like they get popped back. A great hit on Altec and Glebe with the explosive cast. What a fight under the turret from TDK, and Winterfox actually stayed in range for all of the aggression.
Winterfox trying to capitalize on the good ultimate from Helios, but like I said, they don't have Pobelter, they don't have a large damage source, and then Altec gets knocked into them by Kez.
It was like the entire team of Winterfox blinked during the ultimate of Sejuani and didn't move.
It's so hard to follow
that split-second blink was enough time for TDK to react.
Yeah, they didn't
have
it
hits, and then it's kind of like a pause, and then TDK just comes back.
You see, Avalon's like, oh, I walk up, I'm not going to W this. Helios follows in, and Smoothie with the engage and the catch. We talked about Smoothie on engaged champions. This guy, new to competitive play, but he knows how to go.
If you only have one gear, you're usually pretty good at that gear. No matter what happens, you're going to be really good at that gear. It's like Seraph said, when I was on CLG, I got good at protecting the AD carry, right? It's just one gear. You get really, really good at it. And Smoothies is getting himself in there and just slamming his face in to whoever's next to him.
Yeah, not only do they get that inhibitor off the play and the engage from Smoothie, they get a bottom tier 1 turret as well. Yep. So up to 5 turrets now for TDK. and now they get this ward control back. They get the time that this inhibitor buys them to start setting up these objectives. And Alex Siege, he's 60 CS up over Pobelter in this lane. He's 3 items, but so is Pobelter.
I know, right?
The
Luden's flop between the ADs and mids.
Yeah, it's the Luden's Echo that's really doing it for him. He's getting a lot of poke damage off that you wouldn't normally expect. Seraph, though, TPing in to 4. It's a little bold. They get themselves a top turret. And Winterfox actually blow their Righteous Glory. So one of their engage options, pretty much their main engage option, aside from the Sejuani ultimate's down.
Yep. Talisman of Ascension as well. Winterfox, Glebe making his way towards the fight with a ward, but it's not going to be enough to save the fight. Altec trying to deal damage. Smoothie's just too big. He throws the ultimate down. Altec's forced to a relentless pursuit out of the fight this time. And TDK are getting everything they want now on the map. Winterfox very low, and they'd have to run back to base, and I'm not seeing a lot of home guards in any of their members, so they're forced to stay in these fights with low health at this point.
And TDK have complete vision control of the Baron. They're going to go straight to it. They've swept on their way there. They have pink wards set up around it, and they have super minions in the mid wave against a team that's pretty abysmal at wave clearing. They're going to start this Baron up. They're going to try to see if they can get it, and there's no TP on Avalon.
Hopefully he can burn it down.
Oh, that's very early.
Helio's too far away, not going to be able to get much out of this, and the smite goes over to Kez. They get that nicely and pull away with a Baron. 2 of 3 dragons in the game are TDKs, and the first Baron here at 33 minutes.
Oh, man. Even the fact that Altec is up 100 CS over Louis GG, it's not manifesting in team fights because Alex is so good at zoning right now, so good at dealing this damage, and wave clearing. It's the wave clear just seems to be king. So far, the team that has had
map, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So far, in almost every lane.
So far, the team that has had superior wave clear in every game is winning that game.
Seems like both teams, we can see that they know how to fight, but it's the out of fight. It's things that are happening off the ball here in the wave clear that you're saying is really what's changing the game.
I mean, it's kind of a coincidence, but also the team that has Sivir. So that might be the big thing, is that Sivir brings the wave clear and the engage.
Pick.
So everybody's trying to play around waves. This Sivir, not huge in this game, not an enormous impact, right? Not having a huge impact, but the fact that he's able, even 100 CS down, able to be relevant in these fights by pressing his ultimate and giving his tanks the utility they need to get in there.
And
no other AD carry
TDK knew when that relevance was. They had a lot of points where you're like, what is Louis building? He's got such a damage discrepancy, but he didn't fight within that discrepancy. They knew it was a lull. They played out the plateau, and now they're on the inhibitor turret. Second one, taking that down on Winterfox's front doorstep. The inhibitor now to go down. And it does not look like a pretty second game here, or third, I should say, for Winterfox. Second win, possibly, for TDK.
TDK with those 2 inhibs down, the Baron buff up, still some time on it. It's just over half up. They could rotate. They're just going to get rid of all the jungle, possibly go top lane after they buy, and then try to close it out via 3 inhibitors, because this team is going to just get choked by these super minions.
Something that I credited these guys for in one of their first games, actually, we'll hold on to that for a second, is Seraph gets hit, and this is almost what I talked about here, is staying in the mindset that you have right now, pushing as a team, being able to get there. Seraph there going off on a bit of a journey by himself, lone wolf, but still, TDK able to stay in the group, not forget what their objective is, and they're doing it very methodically. Once they have a lead, they don't go for more. They don't double dive a turret and lose people after the double dive. We actually saw a lot of that in our previous series from the teams, and you get that out of a team that hasn't been playing in these strenuous situations a lot. You just want to get blood.
Yeah, you get very bloodthirsty and overextend for things. Happened a little bit for both teams.
Yeah, last year.
These teams both want blood. Nobody's walking away with clean hands after this.
That's right. Well, right now, Winterfox is setting up the, I wouldn't call it the Fnatic brush. I guess it's the Fnatic gate,
so,
if you will.
That is a, it's clever. It's clever. Wonder how much they've tried to execute on it.
I don't know. So they're hidden in the wall still. You can see that. There's the vision. And they might be able to pop out on Kez here. But they know. Kez, very nice ward over the wall. And that was the small initiation to come in. The clown car, indeed. How many can pile out for Winterfox? And it doesn't look like enough can get to the back door. It looks like Avalon's going to go down following on the death of Altec. What a fight for TDK to organize and figure out what was happening there. It did not affect him that the clown car opened up and spit out 5 members of Winterfox.
It affected Alex. He wasn't able to use his cleanse or his flash fast enough to get out.
He's afraid of clowns.
He was just blown up. And now they have Super Minions bottom. They got the top inhib. They're going to get triple inhib against this Winterfox composition. It's going to be so hard for Winterfox to actually do anything here. These waves are going to choke them out.
Very well-played game. The first pick Sivir as well, coming out strong in the fights, where we see these two teams meeting constantly to either lose 4 members in favor of TDK or lose 4 members in favor of Winterfox. Both teams have been playing great, and Game 3 is coming up for TDK this time. 37 minutes into the game, 10-6 on the kill scoreboard, and Game 3 goes to TDK over Winterfox.
And there was a really good sign of life for Winterfox in this game when they were up 4 kills to 2.
Yeah.
TDK come back off of a lot of roaming, off of Kez getting involved in these fights, and Alex having a large CS advantage and not letting Altec get too far ahead with his. This is what I was expecting from a lane swap with this squad, was Seraph to pull pressure top,
right.
Louis GG not to win lane, but not to get completely destroyed, and then see what Alex does up against Pobelter. And Pobelter got the counter pick. He got the Kassadin afterwards. And now, this just completely blows a lot of plans out the window because they've been swapping sides. Everybody seems to have an idea of what their red side strat is because they prioritize that side, but it hasn't been working out. Blue side has won all 3 games, even though every team is picked red. They're not getting their counter picks. They want 2 OP picks, but they're seeing the difference between Gragas Sejuani is kind of a mix-up there.
Yeah, in the mid pick, like you're talking about, Pobelter gets a little bit of what he wants, can try to carry the game. But we've heard Alex Each in the past say before, when we saw Nidalee in the mid lane or Zed in the mid lane, all these safe champions, he's like, I hate playing against these champions because I can't kill them. And within that, I think Alex has actually grown a tendency to not go for the kills then in that situation. Play with heal, play with clarity, or cleanse rather, something that can get him to safety, and he can play a consistent lane that helps the team win and not him trying to go crazy. Because he was a pretty all-star player before as an all-star, but he would be the guy getting the kills, putting the game on his back.
Yeah, I talked about it before where he had to deal with, I swapped to top. When he swapped back to mid, it's like the meta shifted on him. Everybody's playing Ziggs Gragas, and he's
How
like,
rude of it.
He's like, I don't like this meta at all. Like, so his assassins were out of the picture. He's able to kind of adapt, and he's picking up these champions and playing them very proficiently against Pobelter, who's always been considered a really good mid laner that's very self-sufficient.
Best set on A.
Yeah.
All right, well, we do have our analyst desk ready now to help us break down TDK's second win.
Thanks, Riv. 2-1 for TDK. Sivir and Ziggs coming up big. We said it. Yeah. We've said it. We've said it over and over and over again. And so it can't be ignored, right? And so I do want to touch on it again. We've seen now the potential here, even in a game that was a lot more even, right?
Yeah.
Both teams had winning lanes, but the Sivir Ziggs allowed for choosing the initiations they wanted to, and then layering that massive AoE on top that just rolls through teamfights.
I mean, I love offensive teamfight teams. The weakness for them is that if you play a really kitey game, you have to burn ults to get kills, and then in that sort of down space of like 2 minutes, the other team can go do things like, if I Baron bait and I have to burn 2 ults to kill that one guy, I have to go give away map control. That's the weakness of this type of comp, but that's not being abused by the enemy team. So the big ulti-focused teamfight teams are working. And when you look at picks and bans, you see teams are picking red side. Every single game, these teams picked red side. They wanted the counter pick, and we have yet to see the counter pick actually work. Blue is 3-0 in this series. We saw the first pick, Sivir. That was great. You called that one. No ban came through. They first picked it. Great. And then second round, we've got Winterfox going, okay, so Zig's been really good this series. We should pick Sejuani. And who should complement Sejuani for a big offensive team fight? Maokai! Something that, like, Seraph is never going to play in this series. And it's just like, why do you do this? Like, why do you, it clearly is working. The Ziggs is working. They plan a counter pick Kassadin, and yet again, the safer laner who just wants to farm is getting out of lane just fine. Counter pick isn't working in this series, still isn't, and it's just, Winterfox probably should have just picked better, and they probably could have had a chance to win.
Let's go to the top lane. We talked about what Seraph would go to if not the Mundo. He chooses the Gnar, allowed him to have a lot more presence in lane this time around. Zion, thoughts?
Yeah, so I like the Gnar a lot better than the Mundo for Seraph because he can pressure a lot and he can just push up Avalon, and Avalon has gotten bullied a lot in the LCS. And I think that TDK is starting to realize, hey, Gnar's a great pick into Maokai. wins lane, scales hard, and can bully hard. And he did have some issues with like split pushing too far and not grouping with his team, but as soon as they finally grouped in the mid game, you saw that they were just able to group up, get the picks, and just siege down turrets. And to me, this whole series has been and is going to be won by the picks and bans. Sivir and Ziggs are just so important, and for Winterfox to give both of those picks away to TDK is huge. Like, it's similar to game one where Alex got Corki, a safe poking mid lane, and then Pobolter was an assassin that didn't get fed again. He was Kassadin this time. Last time he was LeBlanc, and it's just not working. They need to go back to Ziggs. They need to go back to those safe farming up mids, and they need to play with that stronger late game because, to me, it's just looking like who has the better late game team comp and who has the better team fight that's coming out on top.
Yeah, I love the point about being, that the series is going to come down to picks and bans, but also, too, when we look at which lanes came out ahead here. We had Seraph coming out on top in the top lane, Alex being up in the mid lane, and then Louis GG being down in the bottom lane. Yeah. But it didn't matter so much because he's playing the utility AD carry. And then, as you mentioned, you have that Ziggs, who's happy with going even or ahead coming out of that mid lane. And then same thing with Gnar. Now he's a split pushing threat. He has damage. He's got a fair amount of CC and lockdown in these team fights. The right lanes got ahead for TDK. Yeah. So now when we look over on Winterfox's side and we say, well, that's great that you're beating Louis GG, but if you're going to give him Sivir, it doesn't matter so much, right? They need to find a way to get them onto the champions that their winning lanes will be more effective when they get to the teamfight phase.
Yeah, and honestly, it comes back to, like, Altec's not able to use this lead very well, is the thing. Right? Game 1 played Kalista, short-range champion, can't crit down the tanks, doesn't do very well. Jinx, 4 games in a row, still banned away. I'm waiting to see a long-range. Like, I would rather see Caitlyn at this point, because at least Altec can sit there and guarantee get auto attacks down. But when you're playing Lucian, you're always afraid of Gnar, you're always afraid of Gragas, heck, you're afraid of Alistar as well. I mean, I was surprised that Sivir did so well in Game 1 for Louis GG way back in the first game of the series, but for some reason that champion's working. But the auto attack centric short range champions, it's very hard to have optimal teamfight damage come out, and we're just not seeing the gold that Altec's routinely getting do anything. And I don't know if it's him teamfighting improperly. I'd have to watch the game again to see if there are any specific mistakes by him, but he's not getting the damage out to carry this game.
Yeah, we've seen stubbornness, though, too, in the picks and bans so far. Just as an example, TDK, same 3 bans throughout all 3 games. Now, they've won 2 of them. Great. But they're going back to red side here, Zion, where they did lose. They banned Nunu Hack Jinx. They gave up the Sivir and Ziggs in that game. So, obviously, we're probably expecting that to change, right? We've said it and it hasn't, so I don't know if they'll listen this time around, but I would hope that they do.
I definitely think they're going to realize the importance of Sivir and Ziggs, and if they don't ban Sivir, it's probably because they're going to be like, okay, we're going to take like Ziggs and Ziggs and Sejuani to like compensate for them having Sivir, so we have that huge AoE presence. Or they're going to ban out Sivir and not expect the Ziggs first pick so that they can take Ziggs later on.
All right, well, they've got a few more minutes to get their plans locked down. TDK are just 1 smash Nexus away from unseating Winterfox and claiming a spot in the North American LCS. Stay with us for Game 4, coming up soon.
Now Winterfox is turning the fight around. Louis GG wasn't the focus, but it seems like Winterfox knew exactly what they were doing. Lucian! Nice! And that was the small initiation to come in. The clown car, indeed. How many can pile out for Winterfox? And it doesn't look like enough can get to the back door. And Game 3 goes to TDK over Winterfox.